Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Light the Torch ceremony for Dream to Rise. It's a new book that just hit Amazon actually this morning, very early. My name is Hannah Levis. I'm going to be hosting this Light the Torch, but the ladies are such incredible writers. They're ready to tell you who they are, what they do, and just share in this moment of becoming an author and getting these stories out. But first, before I do that, I'm going to go to Cynthia. So Cynthia, you were inspired to create this book, and I have to know, what was like your first moment when you knew, like, hey, I want to write a book and I want to include other women?
Oh, yes, because first, I know all of us have gone through our own traumas and we have reached our rock bottom. I think no one is exempted from this one. And I told myself I was in my dark bubble for 6 long years. I was not happy. I didn't find any fulfillment. I was living without any purpose. I'm not motivated. But I had that opportunity to make a shift because I know life, there's still life at the end of the tunnel.
Mm,
And I have made the decision to create or to start with this project because I know there are a lot of women, and I've included a guy in this book because I know guys are also in that situation. And I feel that guys are a little bit more hesitant to share their story, and
mm,
because they don't want to share their emotions, their feelings, because they know that they'll be strong and so on. That's how they are expected. But here, these 19 or the 19 amazing authors will be here to share their stories, to give us hope, give us light, that hey, you're not alone. We're here together. And but we were able to overcome, rise up, and evolve. Now doing what we want to do, making an impact on others.
mm. So, in the sense of when you were creating the title, how did you come up with that? Like, what was your inspiration there?
Well, we always create our dream, right? Create our dream by default, most of the time by default,
Mm,
because we are constricted by our past pains, our limiting beliefs, our fears, our worries, and doubts. But actually, we can create our dream by design. We
mm,
have that power to create the life that we want, not being constricted by the conditions and circumstances surrounding us.
mm,
So make use of that dream to rise up again. Don't
mm.
get stuck in that dark bubble. There's a life is great.
It's hard for me to picture you because every encounter that I've had with you, you're always so positive and everything is like, so it's hard for, when I was reading your chapter, it was hard for me to imagine you being in a dark bubble and like the way that you describe it and some of the things that you went through. And I don't want to give it away, but I would definitely advise anyone who is looking for true authenticity and inspiration to grab this book and read it, because the first chapter just really like sets the tone and the pace for the rest of the book, you know. But I'm going to be quiet. So, Cynthia, who do you want to popcorn this celebration to?
Let's start with the with the Eddie. Well, let's start with Heather. Heather has
I
been
knew you were going to
very
do
active.
that. I was like, she's going to do it. She's going to do it.
It's a good choice.
Oh, no. I am so thrilled to be a part of this. I cannot tell you how much this means to me. So,
Mhm.
yes, I'm ready. Well, thank you for having me on here, Hannah.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
guys
you.
so much. I cannot believe the blessings that and I'm really emotional, which I'm sure a lot of us are today. I just cannot believe the blessings that I've received in this. This is more than just being able to publish my work for the first time, because I'm stepping into this world of author now, of being an author for the first time, and this is my debut. And so that's one thing. But really, to be totally honest, the real true gold that was in this were the relationships that I was blessed with. Cynthia, very dear friend of mine now, Allison, Sharice, there's just so many I can even, Jamie, I can't mention them all. Every single one of these beautiful women that I have connected with are very near and dear to my heart, and God just amply blessed me. So yeah, there's my celebration. What a Christmas gift.
Yes.
Heather, what is the name of your chapter?
The Pit, the Light, the Freedom. So I know it sounds kind of short and kind of like, ooh, mysterious, but that was the only way I could encompass it all, to kind of give an understanding of what the journey was. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about the pit, because just as Cynthia said, everybody's in a pit. And I think that's, that is my inspiration for becoming an author, is that I want to throw a lifeline, like a ladder to people to be able to climb out of their pit. I was in mine for, gosh, you know what? Almost 39 years. I'll tell you, probably from the time that I was like 8 years old till the time I was 39, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what direction I was going in. I had no real purpose in life except to serve myself. And that's not enough. I discovered it's just not enough to serve yourself, because it's really easy to turn around and go, I don't have to do that. I'm not worth it. There's other ways to lie to yourself. So when I found a bigger purpose, then it was worth putting my writing out there. And that's why I'm so thankful Cynthia, asked me to do this. So we'll see what goes from here.
Well, thank you for sharing. I'm just going to keep circulating there. Like Cynthia mentioned, there are quite a few authors in the book. And so stay on and we'll bring you back. Thank you, Heather, for sharing. All right. Cynthia, who are you going to popcorn this to?
Just like the Hollywood with all the boxes there. I will go now to Allison.
I knew it. All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Allison Lyons, and this has been such a journey, such a blessing. It came at a time in my life when I was really just looking for something. I had no idea what it was, but I always had this passion that I wanted to tell my story. I knew it could impact others. And so when I was reached out, and then I met with Cynthia, and it just started the ball rolling. But just like Heather, this has been so much more than that, than just simply writing a story. For me, I went back in time and had healing moments where I just bawled like the entire time as I was writing the story and reliving it, because it was so in me. And I had realized that these things had not healed. I thought they had. I mean, to me, I was like, I look great. I'm doing great things. Like, what could come up? But that's the thing about darkness, is it can creep in at any time. And we have to know that there's always a light. There's always a way to get to the other side. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm teaching others how to get to the other side, to live their best dream life. And so essentially what I'm doing is that I'm empowering them from the outside to transform and then become this entire vision of who they wish to be on the outside, kind of like the soul is mirroring itself. And that's why my thing is called Allison's Soul Image. That's the idea behind it. But what I experienced was like 2 decades of toxicity. And so for me, not to go into too much detail, there was a lot of abuse, there was a lot of trauma, there was a lot of generational trauma that came from when I was young. And so that just kind of came all into play into my older older years, I guess you would say. And as it went on, I just grew and started to really light myself up from the inside and saw what was truly possible. And that all your dreams can really come true if you just go after them. And so this whole experience has been just an incredible blessing. And my chapter is Unspinning the Toxic Web.
I love that. So you, if there was one piece of advice, without giving away too much of your chapter, when you talk about generational curses, what do you think you would say to men and women who have experienced that are coming out of it? What kind of hope or inspiration could you share?
Honestly, for me, I'm still technically living that generational trauma, but I'm working through it. I currently moved back home to my parents at 42, and I thought it was going to be the biggest disaster in history. But what I realized is these are all stories that we create ourselves. They're in our minds, and there's always a way to work through those things. Just find a good place and tell yourself that just because this happened to your parents, or this was the story that was being told to you, you are not that person. You're not your parents. You're a different person. And go forward, just really being in that space of, I can do this. I'm different. I'm going to make the change. I'm going to be the rule breaker and make the change and just do it.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for being so transparent. And there is nothing wrong with being at home with mom and dad, because we all need, our mom and dads. Like it's nothing, it's all good. And I thank you for being so transparent with everything. And congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Let's keep this celebration going. Cynthia.
How about Deborah?
Hello.
Yes.
So my name is Deborah. I'm a mom of two beautiful girls. And what inspired me to write this book is that my journey was one of resilience and hope. And what I learned most about my journey was this transformative power of self-love, because I feel that we all have a story and we all go through trauma, but if we don't have self-love, it's so hard and difficult for us to move forward. And sorry, somebody just walked in at 12. Oh, because, okay. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Where was I?
What do you think?
I'm at work right now. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just going to ask you a question, though. We use the word self-love a lot, right? And self-care. What is something that you feel really has helped you to love yourself more than ever before?
Just accepting myself and not living through everybody else's expectations of me. I feel that, sometimes I look back on my life and I say, wow, I had this realization like at 50 years old. Like, I feel like I've missed so much of my life because I lived with, and I pleased everybody else, big people pleaser. And today I'm just, like Allison said, I'm living the life that I want. And I feel that you just attract what you want as well. Like this book literally just fell on my lap. Like the universe brought it to me. And I said, yes, I want to share my story to the world 100%. So,
not that this is an important factor, but did you say you're 50?
53 today. It happened when I was 50.
Wow. I would have never guessed it. So whatever you're doing, you're going to have to share it later. You look great.
Thank you. It's self-love. That's what it is. It's loving myself. And when this happened to me, I didn't know who I was. Like, I don't want to tell you the story because I want to keep it in suspense, but I had no clue who I was. I at 50 years old, I was asking myself, Debbie, what do you like? What do you want? What makes you happy? And I had no answers. And that's sad, and so it was like learning about myself, and it was a beautiful journey. And I, despite the trauma and despite the hard times and despite the crying and whatever we go through, it was a beautiful journey. At the end, of course.
Well, you don't look a day over 21, and I'm seeing
Oh boy, thank you.
whatever you're doing, keep keep doing it because that love is shining through.
Thank you.
All right, Cynthia.
Next, Daniela.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's I'm blessed to be here to be part of this community. I love all the women. And to answer your question, Hannah, we live in Canada, so we're preserved.
Oh,
I am 62 years old. I am 62 years old, guys.
Oh my
Um,
wow.
yes.
We're
Um,
both Daniela, 62.
yes,
Wow.
yes, yes. Um,
Oh my
so
gosh.
with regards to my chapter, I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I wanted to put out there to everybody that to tell them that they can. Uh, when you say cancer, everybody thinks death. It is not a death sentence, and I want people to know that. I want to empower them to move forward. I discovered that through changing my mindset and changing the way that I feel, I've discovered a lot, and I became a life coach, and I want to empower as many women as possible, men, women. It doesn't matter. Cancer is cancer. And the minute you have the tools to be able to move forward, and I mean, and don't forget, after the actual treatments, you have to go back to living. How do you do that with what you went through? So there's a lot of things that I learned over the course of these years, and I've mentored a lot of women. But I want people to know that it doesn't matter your age, your ethnicity, your it doesn't matter who you are, men, women. That's what it is. The trauma is there. So I want to be able to empower people and to not have them fear. The fear is what gets us the most. So in this chapter that I wrote, which is Breast Cancer Warriors, the Fear of the Unknown, uh, I put out what it is that I went through and how I changed things around, how I saw things. So that's my chapter.
So you mentioned mindset, which is wholeheartedly just about everything because what your mind focuses on, everything else follows, right? So
Absolutely.
going through a diagnosis like that, what were some of the things that you were able to do to keep you from going down that dark tunnel? Because the diagnosis is a diagnosis and everyone perceives it differently. So how were you able to keep your mindset in a healthy way?
Well, at first, when I got the actual diagnosis, I'm like, it was like blackout. I just like, I was completely devastated. Me, why is this happening to me? And,
Mm,
I had seen it that way. Why me? And then I went to bed that night and I woke up the next morning. I said, well, why not me? Am I special? I'm no special than anyone else. And I think that's what changed in my mind. And I said, you know what? Let's go for this. What do we got to do? Let's go move it. And
mm,
I picked up my socks and went full force ahead. I had family and friends that just were there all the time. So a lot of that was the family, the friends. There was no really big support group at the time. I've now created support groups for other people, but there was nothing really big. So I really relied on my family, my friends, Debbie being one of them. She's my sister. So, that was basically what got me through. But I know that the mind was such a powerful thing, and it truly, truly is.
mm.
Manifestation and journaling was one of the things that I did most. Just let it all out. There's no judgment. There's just no judgment. Just let it out.
I
Yell
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. These are such beautiful stories, ladies. And it's sometimes, when you put the pen to the paper and you start writing, I feel like it's also like it's a healing process, but you're also inspiring so many others. Cynthia.
Yes, I agree with you because I always tell the other people, hey, other people are just waiting for your stories to be heard. So I'm glad that all of us are here together to share our stories. So give others that spark of light that which you have gone through. The next one is Cherise.
Good morning. Aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you, ladies, so much for including me in this amazing group of fantastic women. My chapter is called Forged in Fire, and my story begins at 6 years old with some abandonment, some neglect, and a string of abuse. But I took a lot of that hurt and trauma and turned it into becoming stronger, which is why I called it Forged in Fire, because I feel like I was a sword being beaten over and over until I came out stronger and sharper. And now I use my experience to recognize what's needed and how I can help other women, which actually launched me into self care, meditation, as well as Daniela. I became a life coach and a hypnotherapist because it actually helped me heal that inner child within so that I could turn around and kind of create a new path for myself, one that I wasn't going to be a victim anymore. I wasn't going to let that hold me back. And yeah, like becoming a hypnotherapist and a life coach, meditative guide, all those things, it launched my life into a much more successful and happy, blessed life. And in that moment is when Cynthia reached out to me, and it felt like, yeah, this is the next step. Being able to write about it was also challenging because even though I'm a fiction author, writing about your own story is so much harder. And it also helped go through a little bit more of the healing process I didn't know I needed. And so now I feel like, wow, I just keep growing. And I'm just going to continue doing that. I have a handful of other women wanting to join and do another one. So I would love to be part of this and continue to grow and inspire others and encourage and support other women so that they can see there really isn't a roadblock or a brick wall stopping them from having the life that they really deserve.
I always say the limit is you, meaning it's us. What would you say to the woman who wants to hang on to being the victim instead of the warrior?
You know what? It's all a choice. It's all a choice. So whatever life you're living in that moment, yes, circumstances have happened to you to put you there, but it's all your choice to decide, do you deserve to stay in that situation or that abuse? No, you deserve to have a better life. Okay, let's manifest it. So I try to help people see what their potential is. And once they kind of get a glimpse, especially in meditation, of how they could be living, of how they could be feeling or looking, or loving. So once they get a glimpse of that, that's the first step. And they realize, okay, maybe I do want to break through this pattern and create a new life.
You're right. It is the choice. So choose wisely.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So it's so simple. It's almost complicated.
Right.
I love that.
Actually, I always
complicated, but they're all worth it.
I always tell the others is the only thing, the power within you is the will for you to continue to change or make a decision, the willingness. That's it.
Yeah, very
Mhm.
true. Very true.
Mhm. Okay, the next one. Who's the next one? It's Jamie.
Hi. So, my chapter is called Hitting a Brick Wall. And I think, part of that is you get to a point in life where you just aren't seeing a way out anymore. And you have gone through all the battles and the struggles, and you're spiritually lost. You don't know which direction, what you want to believe. And I think that once you finally turn that switch and make that decision, you start to focus on things and pray on things and just continue to grow and surround yourself with people like you guys who always want to support you and see you do awesome things. And the people around you start to change, and that you start to learn to accept yourself and have more confidence in yourself that you can do anything. Um, and life is supposed to be enjoyable. We're supposed to do things that we like. We all have unique skills and abilities, and through this journey you start to find those and what you're good at and how you can help other people. So I think that, like, my whole year went from I started Hospice Buddy to that led me to you guys, and now I'm in another organization called Girl Power Alliance, and it's all about just teaching people to step out into the unknown a little bit and watch what God can do in your life, because it's going to be incredible.
Wow. What do you think was one of your biggest pivotal moments when you're talking about hitting that brick wall? When did you say enough is enough?
I literally hit a brick wall. I was driving my car, and I had been fantasizing about it, but when it happened, it was a different story. It was like, okay, I didn't die. Something's got to change. And then, having faith that you can get through it, and you're the one that's going to have to pull yourself through it, and just do the things, follow the path, trust the plan, and pray about it, and all the answers will come.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing. All right, Cynthia, who's next for you?
The next one is Sarah.
Hi, everyone. My chapter is called Resilience Rising, A Woman's Journey Home, I think. And so what are the questions again?
You can just tell us a little bit about, what is your chapter about, or what, who you are.
Sure.
What inspired you to write?
Yeah. So there really is a very strong current theme throughout the book. We're all very connected in what our very different journeys have been, but all similar kind of threads. So it's a very deep message of kind of self-worth, my issues, and my story combines a lot of things without going into too much depth, because for the challenge for me, I don't know about you ladies, but it was really to keep it so short. What do I leave in, what do I take out? And so touched a little bit on grief, because I experienced family grief at a fairly young age, and that was just a new experience for me and my family. And also it was to cancer. So everyone's been touched by cancer, and everybody has a story to tell, because it's 1 in 2. So if it's not me, it's you, or it's your brother. And so there was deep loss and being lost, in life without this person in my life. And so my father was very present in my life as a family provider, and yet he was very absent. And so there's a little bit of that. The father wound in my family goes very deep. It's ancestral. And so in my journey, I've learned all these things about myself, and the things that you allow other people to define your worth. And it's not an exterior thing, but we tend to do that, right? So fundamentally, I've fallen down a lot in life, and I've been for a very, very long time a very independent woman, because I've not had that closeness and support of family. I've had a few friends, of course, but I'm an expat. I left my my birth home, and I've lived abroad for many, many years, and experienced trauma as well. And I have always done things pretty much on my own without the, I don't want to say requirement, but it's very difficult to ask for help, I think, for most people. And so it was very rare for me to ask for help. I would always do things on my own. Je me débrouille, en fait. And so my final trauma was very much about me being very deeply, what's the word, initiated into being able to receive assistance and help from people. Because I never really asked for it before. I just, I'll get on and do it. I'll find a way. I'm resourceful, So that's, in a nutshell, my story. And part of it is also that I'm a single mom. There are so many single moms, whether they have, help or shared custody of the child. I mean, I never have. However, if you don't have any kind of support system, you have to get resourceful and reach out to other mums or whoever you can in your community, because it does take a village to raise a child. And you lose part of yourself when you're a mother and trying to provide for that child and live a life. And, obviously had some very difficult times, and it was very, very important for me to be able to improve our circumstances, because I don't want to be a victim of circumstance, nor do I ever want to be a victim. The amount of things that we've all been through, we could very well just, I'm a victim, poor me, and that doesn't help anybody. So we are the vainqueurs, we are the victors of being through very, very challenging times, and learning the lessons, and the fact that whatever happens isn't happening to you, happening for you. There's always the lessons and the nuggets of wisdom that you can learn and share with other people. And that was similarly why I accepted when I was invited to participate, because so many people have said to me, I've shared quite a lot on social media over the years, and I've had people, as you probably have too, had people say to me, oh, you've got a story, you should write a book. Okay, well, it's not quite a book all to myself, but I agreed to share some of my story. And so many women, not exclusively women, but so many people have been through trauma in relationships, whether that be parental or partners that they've chosen to have a relationship with, or whatever the case may be. And so I think in sharing our stories, it can motivate, inspire, and empower other people to know that you're not alone. And no matter how hard it might seem at the time you're going through it, because let's face it, it's pretty heavy shit that we've been through, you can turn things around. You don't have to be victim of your story. And like you mentioned earlier, it is very much a matter of choice. You can choose to be joyful, regardless of, if you lose your eyesight or whatever, like, be joyful about the beauty of life, because we live in a beautiful world. And there are so many opportunities available to everybody, regardless of what you're currently experiencing right now. So yeah, that's a little bit about my story.
Well, I know two things for sure. You're surrounded by a tribe of women, so you're not alone. I think that your story is very compelling. And I think you're in a good space. I think what Cynthia has created here through this anthology and connecting women, maybe none of you even knew each other. If I had to guess, the whole formula was created from scratch, and every single one of you is a piece of the ingredient to the fantastic recipe she's created. So thank you for sharing that, Sarah. All right. I think we are going to try with all our might to keep Penny here.
Yes.
Penny is struggling with Wi-Fi, but let's do it.
Yes. Well, I'm down in Mexico, so we got like 3G, so trying to keep up.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I moved to Mexico a few years ago. It was part of me changing my life. And my husband had passed away in 2019, and that kind of flipped my world right upside down because I had always been a we. I grew up as a twin. I was always a we. I was, I had a first husband, a second husband. I was always with someone, and I never had to think for myself. I was in a job where I was in.
Uh-oh.
Gotta love Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
We'll just keep her here, and if she comes back in, we'll continue.
Okay.
So, Cynthia, seeing this book come to fruition and seeing all these beautiful faces sharing this journey that you created, how are you feeling? I think you're muted. You know what? Let's see. Unmute. There we go. Nope, still muted. Gotta love. Go ahead and unmute, Cynthia, if you can.
Okay,
There we go.
here we go. Actually, I'm truly blessed to have met all of them because my main purpose is really to spread that message to the world. And I'm glad that I've reached out to different countries because the more we reach out, the more we are able to share our stories and the more we impact other people. And I always uh, we always tell ourselves, hey, I only have a 20-watt bulb. Uh, but then that 20-watt bulb still has a spark of light.
Mm-hmm.
And that spark of light is your gift and your talent. Most of us, we are just inside looking at the window, but that window is full of dust, full of cobwebs. Why not try to clean that window so we have a clearer vision of what is outside in store for us? Change that 20-watt bulb to 2,000-watt bulb. I don't know if there's really a 2,000-watt bulb. I'm just creating, but nothing is impossible. So that is your purpose. That is your gift. Share your light to others, for others, so that they may be guided as well. Don't position your lamp inside the room. Position it on a lamp post outside.
Ooh.
So those who are traveling in the dark may be guided by your light. So they may be able to reach their destination, and that is their dream.
That's beautiful.
I
Yes,
love
it is.
something that comforts me when I is telling myself that I went through all that specifically to help other people, and that comforts me because if I can bring one person to realize what they're worth and how worthy they are, and that there is like a pathway of light at the end of all this, then I feel like my mission was accomplished. We have this purpose, and I feel that all this, I don't want to say it happened for a reason, because it's but I feel that it does happen because it shows us what our purpose is.
Very true. Very true. I always say it's it might be something that we've gone through, but it doesn't define who we are.
Yes.
You still have it. Your identity is your identity, and your circumstance is your circumstance. So don't pick up the circumstance and make it your identity.
Right.
And that's easier said than done, but it can be done, right? So for those of you who are just joining and watching this Light the Torch celebration, Cynthia and her incredible authors, their book came out today, Dream to Rise. It is available across Amazon and many, many countries. And today is just the beginning of all the goodness that's to come. And the inspiration and the motivation, the authenticity that came from the creation of this book is truly impeccable. Penny, should we try this again?
Okay. Now, this is a clear example of how life goes.
Yes.
And we always, we come across these problems in our life, and we always have the choice of choosing to have a positive attitude or a negative attitude. And I could get all angry and pissed off and use that as an excuse to be immature and to not overcome the situation. But as it is, I go off again, like we just keep trying. And, like Danielle, I've had cancer a few times, and I've just seen that as another speed bump on the road of life. You just got to keep on going because, our survival rate to date is 100%, right? We're all here and we're all thriving, and we're really just spirits having a human experience. So enjoy the experience, enjoy the joy, the sadness, the happiness, the trauma, all of it. That's what we're here to experience, what it is to be human. Ooh, I'm getting chills.
How would you say, what you shared about losing someone that you love so much? How would you tell a person that no matter what, you just got to keep living, keep loving,
Yes.
keep moving? What do you
And that was a
say?
tough one. That
Yeah.
was a tough one because Paul was near and dear to my heart. I had many relationships up until then that were pretty disastrous, but he was a gem. Yeah, he was a gem. So, but the thing was when I found out he was dying, we just found out, God came to me and he wrapped his arms around me and he comforted me and he said, Penny, I'm moving your feet onto a new path. And Paul is one of the things that has to go. So, in his wisdom, he didn't tell me it all had to go. So I had a totally new life after a couple of years. I didn't have my husband. I sold my house. I quit my job. I sold everything I owned. I left my country. I mean, I just, changed everything. But that's why my chapter is called It Was Time for a New Me, because I had to also change my personality. Because unless you change who you are inside, nothing outside of you will change. You will just keep recreating the same scenarios over and over and over again. So you take yourself everywhere you go. It doesn't matter, you go, I'm tired of this, and you leave, but then you just create the same scenario somewhere else. So you have to change yourself. You have to change from within. And that takes a lot of work. And you do have to go through that dark night of the soul. And like, I think it was Shrees or someone was saying, Allison, maybe that just keeps coming up again and again. And as it does, it just gets a little easier and easier next time to deal with it and say, oh, that's okay. I know what this is. It's just a feeling. Just let it flow. Just let it go. We don't have to act on every feeling we have. We can just let it go.
So one last thing before you go, in case we lose you, what are you currently doing in Mexico? How are you enjoying it?
I'm actually writing. So when I finally did connect with my inner child again after my husband died, and I was like, God, please help me, and so I got in touch with my inner child through meditation and that. And of course, she looked at me and went, "You've gotten so old," So yeah, it had been a while since we kind of touched base, right? So anyway, so then we had to, I had to discover, what did Penny want to do when Penny was all about Penny instead of all about everybody else? So then it took me way back, but I realized I always liked writing. And even though I didn't get much encouragement, I always liked it. So, and I had written a book in the late 80s, which is another story, but I buried it for 33 years. So after my husband died and I found it in storage, I was like, I'm going to read this again. So I started reading it, and now it's 2020. And I'm like, this book is coming true. It's like a vision of the future or something. So I said, I got to publish this now. So in the last 2 years, I've published that book and wrote 2 more to finish the series. I've now got 2 of the books translated to Spanish. I have the 3rd one in at the translator right now. And so this is actually my 6th book in 2 years. I've got 3 book trailers and 3 audio books. And I think I might put short stories together next year because I have a lot on the go. And I do have that event in Paris coming up, speaking at the Women's Conference in Paris with Cynthia and Jordy.
I might be
Another
going
friend
as
of
well.
mine that got involved with that. So are you going too, Shrees?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, good.
Congratulations, ladies.
Yes.
So-
Yes, and so now, like, when you take the faith, step in faith and say, God's got my back. And he wants me to do this. This is my life purpose and passion. And I knew that. I didn't know it at first, but then I started to realize, of course, we never think whatever comes easy to us is a skill. We like, right, yes, I can pump out a book in 3 months. Who cares? It's easy. Anyone can do it, right? But it's not true, because that's my passion. It's my skill. Other people can say, oh yeah, I'll have that garden up in a month, right? I mean, like 3 years later, I'd still be trying to figure out what's a weed and what's a plant, right? So everybody has a
Yeah,
different
true.
skill set, and it's like it's oftentimes it's the things that you go up. That's nothing. Anyone can do that. That's your skill. That's your purpose and your passion, and it comes easy to you because that's what it's meant for you to do.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. All of these women are so heart-centered. It's such a beautiful collaboration. I love it. All right, Cynthia, the stage is all yours.
Oh my. Well, yes, we're all excited because it's now here for real. The book is out on Amazon and we're promoting it. We're doing a promo just for the launch date, the 99 cents, an ebook. So take advantage of that and please grab um, grab this opportunity and then leave a review. It anything that will lighten you up, and especially now the world is full of chaos. The only
Yes.
thing that we need to do is really focus on what we can do. We don't need to ask for help from other. Yes, we need help, but we have to focus on ourselves. What am I able to share? What am I able to give to other people? Because the more you give, I'm sure more blessings will be coming your way. Learn to be a gracious receiver as well, so that this will fill you up. Your cup will be full, overflowing, and that's why we're here. We're just our hearts are overflowing, full of love, compassion, and kindness. So this could create a ripple effect. That's what we need at this in this stage point in life, to fix ourselves and then spread that love for other people. Thank
Couldn't
you so
agree
much,
more.
Hannah.
Couldn't agree
Thank
more.
you,
Thank you,
Cynthia. Thank
ladies.
you, Hannah.
Congratulations to all of you. So, like Cynthia said, this book is on Amazon. It's the most wonderful time of the year. So that means whoever's watching, whoever gets their hands on this, you can also gift it to someone who you feel could really use some inspiration, and like you said, the ripple effect. So keep it going. Keep it, keep paying it forward. So this book, Dream to Rise, available all across Amazon, many countries. Ladies, I know that you will continue to promote this book and share the links where people can find you, find the book. Please connect with these wonderful women. They have worked effortlessly to bring you a national and international bestseller. And I know it's going to happen today. You ladies are going to hit some categories. You ladies are going to bless. Not only did you write, but you also came and accomplished. So we will keep our eyes on the prize of paying it forward. And congratulations to all of you. Ladies, have an incredible day. Make sure you celebrate this because this is a big moment.
Yes.
Don't go to the next big thing. Stay where you are and really
Soak it in.
like wow, I did that. I wrote that. This is, it's very, not anybody can write. We all should, but not all of us, some of us are better at speaking, some are better at writing, some can do both. But to be transparent and share your story, your trauma, and everything to the world is bravery at its finest. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much, Hannah.
guys.
Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for giving
you
us
all.
this
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me host your Light the Torch.
Oh, it's really an honor. I've been praying for that, Hannah.
Well, I'm glad we found each other. There was
Yes.
Wi-Fi, but that's for a story, right?
Finally, before the Light the Torch event, we were able to be
Yes,
connected again, reconnected. Thank you so much.
definitely. Congratulations, ladies. Everyone, grab this book, Dream to Rise, and please connect with these amazing ladies.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye,
Aloha.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.